The story behind these pictures actually begins in 1889 when the sanitary district was created. Its mission was to save Chicago. The city was dumping raw sewage right into the Chicago River, which at the time flowed directly into Lake Michigan. Even then, Chicagoans were using the lake as their source of drinking water, but the sewage oozed into the lake and threatened the city's water cribs. Chicago was poisoning itself. Something had to be done, and an ingenious plan was hatched. The idea was to bend nature, reverse the flow of the Chicago River, redirecting it southwest towards the downstate rivers and eventually into the Mississippi River and Gulf of Mexico. The reversal of the Chicago River doubled the size of the downstate Illinois River. It flooded farms, it eroded shorelines, it filled in lakes and streams downstate, and it changed Illinois forever. These 20,000 negatives are really the last record at what Illinois looked like before we changed it all.
Each negative had an etched number and date, which corresponded to tiny field books left behind by the photographers. When we connected that information with mile markers on the rivers, we could pinpoint exact locations. We spent months combing through these small leather books. Then one day, we noticed that the horizons on many of these scans appeared to line up with adjacent images. Here were the Lost Panoramas.
The pictures in this book are remarkable. They're panoramic, they're wide angle. You get a sense that you're standing in farm fields and on farms a century ago. And we were first attracted to the project because of the beauty of the pictures. But it's the implications that the pictures all bring with it. They're filled with evidence of a land that once was and of good intentions and a project that was supposed to solve all of Chicago's problems. But now here we are a century later, and the fact that we fooled around with nature and that we thought we could beat nature is starting to provide big implications.
In 1900, when this project was completed, Chicagoans thought that their problems were solved, that they had fresh water, and that was the end of the story. But it was really just the beginning of the story, because fish, animals, the landscape was forever altered, and these problems that have lasted for 100 years continue today. And I think that the story that happened in Chicago is one that probably happened all across America. We thought we could tackle these big problems with big solutions, big bold solutions, and we didn't think what would happen in the future, and that's what's happened today. So the story continues. It began in 1894, and it continues today. And who knows where it will lead us from here. Most Chicagoans know about this story. They've heard that we reversed the river. They heard about what a Herculean feat it was, but nobody ever really thought about what the consequences were. And we never had any evidence of those consequences until these negatives were discovered, because on this film, they show what Bubbly Creek looked like. They show what was going on in the tanneries on the north side. And this was incredible pollution being dumped into the river. And coupled with all of our sewage from Chicago, we sent it downstream. And everything it touched, it killed. And here we had in these negatives all the evidence of what happened. And it shows both sides of the story. It shows this incredible feat, incredible engineering feat that went into this process, but it also shows the devastation eventually, and that's in the form of incredible flooding downstream, the inundation of farmlands and family farms and lakes and islands. It just totally restructured the course of this river, and the consequences were awesome.